Hey, y'all. Have you ever wondered what living really means when you hear it from the Charlotte Mason homeschooling world? Well, I'm Dollie Freeman, and I'm the creator of the Charlotte Mason Planning Framework. And today I'm going to be talking to you about what Charlotte Mason means when she says living. We're going to dig into the original series of Charlotte Mason. I'm going to be sharing some quotes and actually giving you three things that you need to be considering when you're planning your Charlotte Mason homeschool. So if you're watching, I'd love for you to interact and be able to be a part of this conversation as we're talking about what living means. I am so excited to be bringing this to you because honestly, I have been in the Charlotte Mason world for 20 years and I have heard a lot of people say a lot of things about living, and some of it goes a little bit against the grain of what Charlotte Mason means. So we wanted to dig a little bit deeper in here and be able to actually get a real good grasp on this so that we don't fall into that trap of being a purist to the point where we lose our joy in homeschooling. So if you're here, say hello to me. Let me know the comments are working. That way I can say hello back. Hello, it's snowy day in the desert west of Texas. Wow. Hello, Elizabeth. I'm glad you're here and watching on YouTube. So welcome, welcome. Okay, let's talk about the term living. I'm real excited about this because I'm going to not only talk to you about what Charlotte Mason says, I'm going to make sure that you understand the terminology of why she chose the word living when explaining her education philosophy. So I'm going to post this into the comments like I always do. You can let me know if you see this on both Instagram or on Facebook and yep, actually it just populated for me. So it's on both. So the word living from the 1828 dictionary of Webster's dictionary says that living is an adjective and it means producing action, animation, and vigor. Quickens as in a living idea. And this is what I want you guys to fall in on is that Charlotte Mason wants us to be thinking about ideas. And I'm going to share a quote here in a minute of Charlotte Mason, but I want to say hello to Stephanie. Welcome from Alabama, and you're watching us on YouTube as well. So glad you're here. And I love the fact that you said hello. So let's get started. I want to say hello to Ashley from Missouri as well. Welcome, welcome. Let me share this quote about Charlotte Mason before we get started, because this is what our conversation today is all about, is living. And so this is what Charlotte Mason says that living is. And it looks like it broke it up into two posts on YouTube. So hopefully you guys are able to see it well. Thoughts breed thoughts. Children familiar with a great thoughts take as natural, let me move this up so I can read it better, takes as naturally to thinking for themselves as the well-nurtured body takes to growing. And we must bear in mind that growth, physical, intellectual, moral, spiritual, is the sole end of education. So thought breeds thoughts. Okay, that's what Charlotte Mason's wants us to understand, is that whatever we're putting in front of our children, rather it be we're going to go through the three different things I want you to be considering when you're planning out your Charlotte Mason. But what Charlotte Mason wants us to understand is that it needs to be living. It needs to produce that vigor, that action, the animation of ideas, a quickening of ideas. And she says that through thoughts breeds thoughts. And this is what's so important. So I want you to realize this, that when you have a living curriculum, you have a curriculum that actually produces action. This is what I love about Charlotte Mason. It makes a child imagine. It makes a child act out things. It makes a child become alive and connected to their homeschooling. So I really like that. So let's talk a little bit about three of the things that Charlotte Mason points out. Well, the third thing is one thing I pointed out, but I know Charlotte Mason will agree, and I'll share with you why in a minute. But the first thing is obvious in books, right? Charlotte Mason claims living books. This is the curriculum in which she had in her homeschooling years in the 1800s. Their curriculum came from living books. They're living because they produce thoughts in our children. They're evident in their actions. They're evident in the way they speak and what they do and how they act, and they're quickened. So if you've ever read a book to your children and then found out that they went and acted it out, or they wanted to dress up like the characters, or perhaps they automatically memorized the words or parts of the scenes. This is living. It actually produces ideas. So hopefully you've experienced some of this in your actual homeschool already. But this is what I love about Charlotte Mason is it totally brings that alive to a child in a way that really brings education in a delightful way. So if you know anything about Charlotte Mason, you must have a delighted education for your children in order for it to become self-educating. So the next one, and I like to always post these, and I forgot, so let me post these for you all. Just my way of helping you. So the first way you need to be planning is in your books, right? You need to be planning your books for living, that they breed thoughts. The second one that Charlotte Mason talks about is the influences in their lives. She calls this oral literature. This is something that when I saw that terminology, it jumped off my page because oral literature to her means that thoughts breed thoughts. This means that people, the influences in our life, regardless if they're good or bad, or indifference, they're going to actually breed ideas. Thoughts breed thoughts. And so this is where you have to be very careful with the people that are in your children's lives, right? You have to make sure they have that good thought producing for your children, because again, living means, we're going back to the definition, living actually produces actions in animation and vigor and quickness. It produces thoughts. Our thoughts lead to action. All right. So the influences in our life is what Charlotte Mason called oral literature. And I really love that, because how many of us see our children acting like their friends, and then we're like, oh, we don't really want you to act like Tommy in that way. Or even ourselves, there's sometimes I'm hanging around a friend for too long and all of a sudden I laugh like her, or I act like her in some way. It truly is the influences in our lives. So it goes beyond our books, right? How many times my husband and I were just talking about this morning about having to discipline yourself out of your children, that we always are saying, oh, that's my kid. He's acting like me, or he's acting like you. We take ownership of the good and the bad in our children that are just like us. And so it's just really neat to see that it's truly oral literature. It's living to them and as part of their life. Is this helping anyone? Y'all are quiet today on the show. So I would love to hear from you and let me know that you're hearing this and you're getting it. And while I am, I'm going to share this next quote with you. One that really brings this oral literature to life for me as a Charlotte Mason homeschooler. And that is, I'm going to pull it up so I can read it a little better. The duty of parents is to sustain a child's inner life with ideas as they sustain his body with food. The child is an electric. He may choose this or that. Therefore, in the morning, sow the seed, and in the evening, withhold not thy hand, for thou knowest not which shall prosper, rather this or that, or rather they both shall be alike good. This is something I want you guys to zone in on and understand what Charlotte Mason's saying here. The duty of us is to stay in our child's inner life. We need to be very careful about the influences both in people as well as in books, and what it is that's producing life in our children. Is it good or is it bad? We wouldn't let our children sit and have a whole food all day long of junk food. And we know that's because it's going to turn them into unhealthy kids, and it could cause sickness and disease to run rapid in their body. Same thing needs to happen with what we produce for our children in their education and in their experiences with others. Hello, Kim. I'm glad you're getting it. I'm totally hearing you, lady. Wonderful. And yes, it is very interesting. The more you really zone in on what she's saying as about, the whole atmosphere that we're creating as moms, that's our elliptical orbit. Education is an atmosphere, a discipline, a life. That's our elliptical orbit as moms, is that we need to be pulling this stuff living ideas. Thoughts breed thoughts. We want to protect them. And then now I'm going to get into a little part that kind of ruffles the feathers of some very purist Charlotte Masoners. But I'm going to tell you, Charlotte Mason is 100% on board with me. And if she could, she would tell you this, because I have read the original series and I see it time and time again. And it goes along with part number 2, the influences in their life, and what she calls oral literature, things that are said to out of the mouths of people, right? That is not found in books, but is orally said. And this is what leads to number 3. And this is, I'm going to add here, visual and audio learning. And I didn't put the number 3 there. Forgive me for that. Visual and audio learning. When you know that Charlotte Mason says that the influences in our life is oral literature, and that it breeds thoughts, and that thoughts breeds thought, and that living produces an action, a quickening, a vigor. Those types of things can and are found inside living resources that are DVDs, resources that you can find on your television shows. Not all of them. You have to make sure they're good, that they're good thoughts, they're good breedings. And then also you have to realize that you can be doing the same thing in audiobooks, not just reading. And once you understand what Charlotte Mason says about living, it opens up the world to you as a Charlotte Mason mama to help you understand what it is that you can be doing to help your children foster that delight in what they're learning, and being able to see the enjoyment in books, in the influences in their life when they see people face to face, whether it's kids or adults, and then also in visual learning. Our children have learned so much from DVDs that I could never have taught them, because I don't have that excitement about that hands-on learning in science. Our kids love science DVDs. They love historical DVDs. They'll sit and listen to documentaries on, wall builders things. They love Ken Ham's things. They sit and listen to documentaries and they love it. And that has given them the ability to actually sit through church services and listen and glean very well, because they have actually fostered that ability inside them to be able to be attentive to visual and not just audio, right? Not just literature where they're reading. So I hope this is helping you guys. Those are the 3 things. Let me go through them again. You're going to want to be planning your books. You're going to want to be planning your influences in their life. You want to make sure that you're thinking food. You're not going to want your kids being on these nasty foods all their life. So you want to be very particular about the influences in their lives, both in people and in their books. And you want to be thinking of anything that comes from the mouth, whether it's someone reading an audiobook or someone doing some type of DVD or a show on, TV. And you want to be thinking about that, making sure that it's oral literature. Keep telling yourself, Charlotte Mason called this oral literature, right? And then also visual and audio. So that opens up a whole lot more beyond books. Now, I'm not saying this takes place of books. This is in addition to books. It's in addition to your curriculum, is getting people in touch, or getting your children in touch with other people that can be influencing their thought to thought. So that's something I hope you guys are encouraged by. And let's see, Elizabeth says, my 2 homeschool graduates did really well with living books. Their English professor think I am an English major. These 2 kids speak and write really well as a result of the good books. And it's true. The more we put our children around the good stuff, that's what they're going to desire. And so you want to do your due diligence as you're contemplating, I know you homeschooling mamas are already thinking of next year. I just know that. You have these little thoughts going in the back of your head. So you want to be thinking of these 3 things to be guiding you as to what living means. And living is the key to doing a Charlotte Mason homeschooling. And the reason is thoughts breed thoughts. So if you help yourself remember that all the time, thought breeds thought. It's not just your books. And if you go through your entire homeschooling only thinking it's books, you're going to realize that you're falling short in the discipline and the life, as well as the atmosphere that you're supposed to be creating for your family, because now you've allowed your children to see learning in a whole different way, that they don't need a book in front of them to be the only learning source for them. So I hope you guys had gotten that really well, and you see the benefits of Charlotte Mason's homeschooling method philosophies. And you might be perking a little bit if this is the first time you've heard Charlotte Mason's definition of living and what it might look like. And you might be a little overwhelmed, like, how does that look? How can I actually use living? Maybe you're using textbooks. You've never in any way considered using living books, or for goodness sakes, how do you use people? It's part of your homeschooling. So next week, I'm going to be coming live at the same time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to teach on the Charlotte Mason Way show how to use living resources in your homeschool. So I'm really excited to be sharing that with you guys. I hope you can show up for that as well. And that way I can help you kind of connect the two, not just, academics and books, but how can I connect these people? How can I connect to the influences, the oral literature in life as part of my homeschooling? Stephanie says, I have a 3-year-old and that loves being read to and has learned so much just from living books. It's true. And I bet you anything, your 3-year-old has learned an awful lot from those that have oral literature with him or she. I don't know which one, she or he as well. And Gabby says, I love how Charlotte Mason is all inclusive. It includes a 24-hour day. Did y'all hear that, Charlotte Mason mamas? It includes a 24-hour day. Most Charlotte Masoners think once we get the academics done, we move on. But when you truly embrace your elliptical orbit as a Charlotte Mason mama, you will see that is truly an atmosphere, a discipline, and a life. And you cannot just go through the academics and arrive at self-educating children. You really have to do your due diligence in those 3 areas. And then Gabby also says, to me, that is what living means. It's not just during public school hours. And you're totally true. You totally teaching me that, Dolly, every day. I was constantly saying, okay, kids, school's done for the day. I have to stop saying that. And you do. You do. What I say at home is your lessons are done. There's a difference, the drawing of lessons, but then they understand that the outdoors is their home, is their schoolhouse as well. And that relationships and how we are with each other and habit training, all of this is our learning. But they have lessons and then they have life. So your lessons are done is how we say it, not your school, not your learning. But I'm thankful that you guys were able to stop in today, and thank you for conversing with me and interacting with me on this topic. I hope you come next week when I share about how to actually use living resources in your homeschool. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.